Welcome everybody to Rewriting the Payments Playbook. I'm Dale Lazig, and today I'll be moderating a panel with industry experts who each in their own way have totally changed the game. And I'm going to wait about 20 seconds to make sure that everybody's logged in. But welcome, we're excited to join you today for a very invigorating discussion. And I'm pleased to kick off the panel with a very exciting announcement. I'm very pleased and honored to announce that this year's MPC Visionary Award winner for 2020 is AliasWire. And just a little while ago, I posted a press release on our newswire, and I'd like to share with you some of the criteria for this very exciting award. Basically, candidates are nominated for one or more of the following criteria: focusing on future impact, designing new technology, disrupting accepted processes, shrinking costs, and accelerating time to market. And now I'd like to share with you a brief video clip.
Thank you, Mobile Payments Conference, for this very prestigious award. I am honored to accept this award on behalf of the entire AliasWire team, especially for our founder, Haas Mosenzadeh. Although Haas passed away tragically, he did instill with all of us a relentless pursuit of innovation. From the very first peer-to-peer transaction to our innovative direct biller platform and our industry-changing Pay the Small Business credit card issuing platform, Haas's vision lives on in all of us. To Haas and the entire AliasWire team, this is for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Goldthwait. What a wonderful acceptance by Scott. That video will be on the homepage. And I can't think of a better segue to a chat about changing the game in payments. Every single person on this panel has done that in some way, shape, or form. And I'd like to ask the panelists to each introduce themselves.
Hi, Eugene De Silva. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for having me. I am the GM at AliasWire, responsible for the game-changing Pavis product.
Hi, I'm Royce Hall. I'm the Director of Business Development at Level 12 Software That Works. We build and design custom applications for people when they're trying to build something new or fill the gaps of software that doesn't work entirely for their company.
So hi, you got Robert Downton from Advanced Mobile Payments. I am the Vice President of Sales for North America. AMP is a company that was primarily hardware based, but we also have expanded into different solutions and services, all geared towards bringing frictionless payment.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. So as we were preparing for this panel, we've already had several discussions about how much our industry models have changed. As someone who's been reporting on that for 20 odd years and also a former person who was selling different solutions, it's amazing to me to see how much we've progressed from industry hardened models, you know, things that sat on a countertop that you had to walk up to and you did very specific functions, or merchant acquiring, where the rules were very cut and dried. And I actually was in that game for a while, going door to door, selling processing when people still thought about processing before it became a utility. And it's the software as a service has been phenomenal, and it's fueled our industry's growth. But interestingly, it's not the only way. And what's fascinating to me as a payments industry journalist is that every time something new comes into the market, it doesn't necessarily displace the incumbent, but it offers more choice, and it gives people more flexibility, and it gives them more control. And I would like to, as a first question, I'd like to ask everyone on my panel to think about the original model. Obviously, you saw something that not everybody else saw. And as a visionary in your space, how would you describe the model that you are offering today with the previous incumbent model? What specifically did you change?
So I'll jump in and maybe open up the discussion here. So I heard both you and Robert touch on a couple of key points. So Robert mentioned seamless, a very smooth experience. And I think that's one of the things that people in the payment space, both as from the company experience, but also from the user experience, they expect that seamlessness. They want a really easy to use experience. And Dale, you pointed out the software as a service, the SaaS platforms, kind of replacing some of the traditional models, whether that be, you're going into a store, you swipe your card through a POS or something. People are expecting to be able to do, anything they want kind of from their bedroom. Like, I'm doing this broadcast from my basement, right? Like, people expect to be able to, order something online very smooth and seamlessly. They expect to be able to open a bank account without ever seeing a person, or maybe a mortgage, all, kind of from the comfort of their own homes. So my company, we build the software that does that. We build the integrations, the automations that make those things possible. And like you said, Dale, the SaaS platform is not necessarily replacing the incumbent, but is kind of adding on to it. Like, if I could just, integrate with this one piece of software, my whole ecosystem becomes stronger. So you see a lot of, startups building micro functionalities that can be integrated with bigger solutions, all to the point of creating a smoother and faster and hopefully more secure payment ecosystem.
Thank you, Royce. And Robert, the hardware industry has really gone through an incredible evolution. What differences are you seeing in hardware these days?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, the hardware industry has changed dramatically, and the payment environment has changed dramatically. It's really payments as a service now. It's no longer about just being able to deliver payments. Payments are expected, it's a given. You need to be able to provide integration, very much like what Royce was saying, it needs to be easy. The original semi-integrated solutions that came out to make it easier, they tended to lack feature and functionality, but that's not the world today. Today, with Android platform, a smart platform, you can integrate to just about anything. In the AMP world in particular, we've taken it to another level because we've now support not just direct integrations on our payment hardware, but you can now talk to cloud-based solutions or even browser-based solutions. To my knowledge, I'm not aware of anybody else that is able to provide a browser-based integration, which now opens up the ability to have really any type of even external hardware, like Apple-based hardware, talk and integrate to an Android device. Like I said, I mean, to me, that's a real game changer. All these different business applications now can come in and talk on our device and provide kind of any feature and functionality to merchants. It's really sky's the limit at this point.
That's interesting. And Eugene, your model too has a lot more fluidity than I've ever seen before in merchant acquiring. It wasn't that long ago that acquirers and issuers had to stay in their lanes. And now I'm questioning if we even have lanes.
Well, I think it's a great way to introduce what Alias Wire does. We basically take what you're describing as two processes to the same organization, and we combine them. And when you think about it, a small business owner makes a decision about whether to accept card or not. And when they make that decision to accept, then what traditionally a merchant acquirer gives them an application and they fill it out, and then maybe some onboarding automation takes place. And then secondarily, the small business owner may be approached by a bank and say, do you want a small business card? And if that is the case, they do the exact same thing. They give them an application with the same information that's required. And then they may, through an automated process or not, many days later, come back and say you're approved. What we do is we combine that into one effort. So think about, imagine this, that you're a small business owner and you sign up for merchant acquiring to accept card, and at the same time you sign up for the ability to get a card. And we've been approving customers in as little as 4 minutes, which is completely unheard of in the industry. When I think about what businesses are demanding these days, it's the automation, it's the satisfaction, the immediacy that they get on the consumer side. And we as an industry have figured out a way to provide that service.
And I think you're absolutely right about that, Eugene. The user experience has changed. Like, we expect everything instantly, right? We expect real-time reporting, real-time data. And, we're moving to a place where, more and more people are expecting and implementing real-time payments, right? So, we can already do that, like person to person, peer to peer with like Venmo, right? You plug in your information, you can give somebody money right now, but how do we implement that at the next level? How do we, implement real-time business to business payments and kind of take that next step to see that technology going kind of everywhere? Because again, as you said, Eugene, like, that's the growing expectation is, why do I have to wait for anything? Like, I just want to do it like right now. And that's awesome that your company is onboarding people in 4 minutes. That's incredible. So kudos to you all.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, did you want to say something, Robert?
No, I was just going to say absolutely. I mean, that was unheard of in the past, for sure.
And when I think about the fluidity that's taking place across all of the ecosystem, it occurred to me that we're dealing not so much with product anymore, but with capabilities. And that leads me to my next question, which is, how do you interact with the rest of the ecosystem? How do you support interoperability?
So Dale, is that question for me?
Well, actually, it's for everybody. I just wanted to throw it out there.
It's for you now, Robert.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, the kind of the model that AMP is built around is about being collaborative. You have to be in this market. There are so many different solutions out there, and our approach is that we want to work with everybody. And that can be everything from integration of third-party applications, business solutions, but then we've also taken it a step further, because one of the things that kind of tie in with that is being able to provide training, documentation, support, being able to do things like estate management. And that can be not just, in the past, estate management really meant, how do I download new applications and how do I manage that estate and applications? But in our world today, that can mean inventory. That can mean tracking transactions that go through our terminals. Not card sensitive data, mind you. We keep that, obviously stays with the acquirer or gateways. But especially when you get into small, medium-sized business, being able to have that functionality, easy access to that information to be able to manage what's going on within their portfolio is kind of critical. When you take it a step further and you go into the integrator side, being able to have a window into what applications are running, where my inventory is, but then also being able to offer other services that tie back into that ecosystem is very important. And again, that wasn't available in the past. And our model again is very much, really we want to work with people, but we don't want to tell people how to do their business. You tell us how you want us to work with you, we find a way.
So making it easier to work with hardware, making it easier to manage a business owner's cash flow, making it easier to control the user experience and the software and actually own the software that you're developing. These are all capabilities that I'm hearing from you.
Absolutely.
What I'm interested in is how do you remove friction from that?
Well, it really starts with the AMP Smart platform. Because we're, again, Android based, we have a secure hardware platform that runs on Android, but then that ties back into then software and solution, right? So, it can be something really, let's look at the different, use cases. So for instance, we aim to make it easier for distributors. One of the biggest friction points for distributors is how do I easily onboard a merchant? What's the deployment process look like? And so with our AMP 360 platform, we're able to, for one, create bundles and packages that are very easy for them to deploy. But then with the launcher on the AMP device, it is very intuitive and seamless on how they get, configuration and stuff set up on the device, but then also how do I deploy? And then when that device goes out the door and actually winds up at the end user, again, there's a series of very easy steps to launch that merchant and get them live. We're really kind of aiming for, kind of like your smartphone experience. When you get a new smartphone, it prompts you on how to walk through and get that device set up. Well, we do the exact same thing, right? We'll prompt you on how to get the device set up. And it's very easy for that merchant to go live. That makes a better experience for everybody in the chain.
That's interesting. Eugene, tell me about the user experience from alias wire perspective.
So
friction.
Yeah, so our philosophy is we have a channel partner go-to-market strategy. And in a channel partner strategy, what we did was we basically said, we're going to work with everybody and anybody that wants to be a channel partner of ours. The customer is the customer of that channel partner, so we have to make that channel partner look good. And the way to make them look good is to require as little change on their end as humanly possible. So what we do is we take on the burden of any and all of the heavy lifting. All the channel partner has to do is provide us a couple of pieces of information that they capture today as part of their process, and the rest is on us. And that's just the philosophy of what we've taken on. Take the heavy lifting away from the customer, away from the channel partner, make it as seamless as possible. And therefore, you're going to be able to work with anybody, and you're going to make it easier, and you're going to make a better relationship between the end customer and that channel partner. And that's really what we're desiring to do.
Excellent. And Royce, tell me about the software development experience. What can somebody expect when they work with Level 12?
Sure. So we're really big on something that we call client empathy. So what we want to do is when we engage with you, we want to understand and dig at your problem to the point where, it becomes our problem. We really feel your pains and feel the rub that you're feeling and see the opportunity, because a lot of times we're dealing with people who have a vision, right? They see there's something missing in the marketplace. And I just need somebody to build, my software that's going to fill that hole. So, we work very closely and try to understand, okay, what exactly are you seeing? What value is that to you? And then we work in a very iterative fashion to build and deliver early and often. So the end result is that we are frequently delivering functional code and frequently delivering a product that people can use and feel and play with and say, hey, like, this, this function is what I need. I thought I needed this other one, but I don't really need that. And the end result is that we end up tailoring the software to the user. and they get exactly what they need without a lot of gold plating, without a lot of excess. And that way we're able to give them exactly quickly, and while being budget conscious, because we can say, we can help them figure out, okay, like, you don't really need this thing, like that's not really helping your business case, but this thing over here is going to set you apart. And we just, we work really close with our clients and help them see what they need and then build that exact thing without a lot of excess.
And it's very clear to me too, based on all of your feedback, that you're providing capabilities to your channel partners, end user, that really empowers the small and mid-sized business. I mean, when you think about what our industry was like even 10 years ago, you had the enterprise solutions, and then you had the smaller subset of small and mid-sized business solutions that actually some companies even compared to consumer grade. And now all of that has disappeared. And now the small business owner can have access to all of these advanced capabilities and really have a big brand experience. So how are you helping the small business owner right now in our COVID environment? And also, how do you anticipate working with that small and mid-sized business owner in the future in a post-COVID, hopefully, environment?
So in our experience, we're working with small business owners and medium-sized business owners, again, to kind of develop tools that they need to kind of compete with the bigger companies. Like, you have your back office processes. You're dealing with a lot of data entry. Oftentimes it can be very manual. So we help them build software solutions that are tailored to their business process. And that allows them to cut down on costs and really focus on the most important parts of their business. Because at the end of the day, like, crunching numbers is not the most important part of the small business, right? Like, they're out there trying to build a product or something, and they don't want to deal with all that stuff. So like, we can help them build these solutions. And in the COVID world, that's very important, leveraging software, leveraging new tools that allow you to act faster with less feet on the ground, because in a COVID environment it's hard to get a lot of people in the same room together, right? So we're enabling business processes with tailored software to help them move forward quickly.
And Eugene, how do you anticipate empowering the SMB now in the post-COVID future?
So Royce is 100% correct in that small businesses, small businesses do what they like to do because that's their passion. Figuring out the money coming in and building their business, that's not their passion, or they'd be an accountant, or they'd be a corporate person, or they'd be one of us. So what we do is we help them take care of that piece to make them get them to a successful business. And most small businesses that fail don't fail because they don't have a good product. They fail because they can't manage the cash flow. And what we do is we provide them a tool through our channel partner that helps them manage their cash flow in and manage their cash flow out. So the cash flow in is through accepting card, the cash flow out is through using a card. And what's very unique about our product set, not only is the onboarding process very seamless and unique, but the combination of those two elements and the way we manage that enables the small business not to get in trouble by revolving. And if you think about it, when you start to pay interest, that's when you start to get in trouble. If you can curtail that and manage your expenses and manage to your monthly bill, if you will, and you can optimize that, that's when you're going to have a successful business. And then you can focus on painting, or you can focus on selling, or you can focus on whatever it is that your small business does.
Wow, that's phenomenal. It's amazing to me that you solved that problem of revolving credit with a credit card product. It's almost ironic, but it's beautiful too. So Robert, what type of technology innovations are you working on that will help the SMB now and going forward?
Yeah, so AMP has come out with a product that we're calling AMP Campaign. AMP Campaign is really digital marketing meets business app meets payment app is the idea of it. So to give you, I guess, an example, so we're taking a look at a lot of small different business segments like donations, but it could be just about anything. The solution is flexible enough and scalable enough that it can go into any kind of a small business, allow them to promote the brand and messaging that they want. It can support some small business functionality. You know, so in other words, have like a small menu of products or services and things like that. But then also be integrated, fully integrated to our standard payment application that's already certified. So there's no integration. There's no third-party business application required unless they want it. It can all exist within the one platform. There's a dashboard available with it as well. So if they do want to actually have access to that transactional data, it's available for them. And the beautiful thing about this system is that it's fully managed by AMP. The business owner really just needs to provide their requirements. If we can fit it into an existing template, it can be up and ready in a couple of days. If there's something custom that they want, we can customize either the template or the content based on what they need. The other advantage to that system is that it can be done, again, in like literally within real time. Once we have a merchant live on AMP Campaign and they want to make changes to that solution, it can be as simple as a phone call, and within 24 hours, we could have all new messaging designed done for them. AMP is very strong on the actual marketing side, so we provide consultation services and stuff like that as well. It really does allow that small merchant to be able to promote their brand, but then also utilize some business functionality that they probably don't do today. I mean, a lot of these guys are using standalone terminals, and that's about the extent of their technology on hardware. We're able to take it to a whole other level.
That's fantastic. Wow, thank you all. I think we might have time for one or two questions. Here's a question from David Hune. Does anyone still target a certain niche with new payment tech? And I believe he's also speaking of a demographic because he said teens or boomers. Or has COVID put everyone on the same playing field, so to speak, so that we need digital options and digital period? So who would like to take that one on?
So I'll answer it from our perspective. We do not target one group, one segment versus another. Primarily, we're working on the entire small business, lower end, middle market. That's our target. And where we go is where our channel partner goes. So we have channel partners who focus on new businesses that may be boomers, or it may be people who are getting businesses from the boomer and it's the teens. But wherever our channel partners go, that's where we focus. So COVID or no COVID doesn't really impact us.
Okay, here's another. Oh yeah, did you have something to?
No, I was just going to say the same thing. Like, we kind of go after, all sorts of people. I drove up to a chicken processing plant the other day. Like, they need good software as well. So, we kind of deal with everybody, mostly small, medium-sized business, and really love working with startups. That really gets our software engineers going, kind of get to put the creative hat on. But yeah, like anybody with a good idea that, software can help them solve a good problem, we can address that with them.
Yeah, the other observation that I've made, because I've really leaned into this question quite a bit in my writing and my news coverage, and I would just say that eventually we'll get to a point where we won't even have to say digital. You know, commerce is commerce and payments are payments. And I think that, you know, the key is how fluidly and seamlessly can you go back and forth from the physical to the digital while maintaining a consistent and seamless customer experience across the whole spectrum. But I did have another question too. What is holding back payments evolution, in your opinion? What are some big obstacles out there that you're seeing in the market?
From my perspective, I think one of the big issues is security. You know, there's evolving payments, evolving ways to pay, but, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, millions and billions of dollars, like, you got to make sure that it's secure. So, you know, we're working on projects such as like secure remote commerce to help facilitate both faster payments, but also at the same time, you know, keep them secure, because that's, you've got to have that. But also, I think there's, you know, a shortage of software developers. That's what we're seeing on our end. You know, there are more jobs available for software developers than there are software developers, which is great for a company like me. But you know, that makes development slower. And then, you know, having software developers as well that have experience in the payments realm and know kind of the structure of things, like, you know, you just keep narrowing that already narrow group down further, and, you know, you can't develop as fast as ideas happen.
Wow, great. And I think we have time for one more, and a really good, juicy one just came in. That's one of my favorite questions. I'm surprised I didn't think of it. What's on your near-term product roadmap? What innovations are you working on?
So from an alias wire perspective, two things. One is I just want to answer the previous question a little bit more. I think security is definitely one of the biggest obstacles, but I think there's also a lot of legacy baggage being able to provide, whether it be merchant acceptance terminals or credit card, to this small business community. Very small amount, proportion of these people are able to obtain credit. And our platform and our processes are built in such a way where we're going to approve 99% of these people, where traditional players approve a fraction of that. And as far as on our roadmap is designed all around making and providing small businesses with the tools that large market companies have. We want to make them as smart and as creative and as business savvy as the people that they're competing with. And if we're able to do that, we know that in the United States and probably the rest of the world, small businesses drive the economy. If we give them those tools that they can digest in a way that they want to digest them, that they'll be very successful.
Awesome. Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to kind of just touch on that previous question as well, because I definitely agree with the group that security is a big issue for us too. But our biggest challenge on the hardware side is really certifications. That process is very long and tedious. The way that we're combating that on our side as best we can is coming out with things like common kernels, common platform. The more things you can make common, the more devices that I can get to market faster. But speed to market is key. You know, really, you know, the people that can get solutions to market, certified solutions to market, is a huge advantage. And that's clearly, I mean, our focus right now is being able to be nimble, being able to get things done as fast as we can, get them in market as fast as we can, to keep up with that technology that keeps changing. I mean, the world is constantly evolving, and we need to be faster.
Thank you.
I'd say on our end, you know, we're working on kind of customizing whatever our clients need. So, you know, we kind of follow, you know, the need in that way, but we're working on machine learning projects. We're working on automation. We're working on secure remote commerce. I think that's kind of an up and coming technology that, you know, is ready to be deployed. So we're doing some, you know, innovative stuff there. And again, just tailoring the solution and the experience to, you know, where the users are, so that they have that smooth and quick transaction, you know, from the comfort of their own home.
Absolutely. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you all for participating, and thank you to everybody who's joined our discussion today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.